Channel. My name is Chastity. Here we talk about beauty, entertainment, celebrities, books, movies, anime, TV shows, and kind of anything else that garners my attention this week. So before we get into today's video, I actually got hit up by the team of Glamnetics. They asked if they could send me some products, and here they are. Let's go through the nails first. So one of them I'm wearing right now. They're called Sprinkles. These are very, very cute. Then my other pair of nails, they're called Creme de Nude. They're a pair of nude nails, and these look so good. Like real grown, real sophisticated. A pair called Ego. I don't know if the camera is picking this up, but there's like purple lashes like in here. I don't know if the camera is seeing that. Other pair of lashes I got, these are in Lucky. A more like natural lash. Last pair of lashes I got, they're called Lush, and like look at this box, like it looks really fancy. And these are Lush. Like I mentioned, I also got the liner. I got it in felt. I got felt tip liner just because like I'm not good at the other liner. I'm only recently started like using a felt tip. This is in the shade Deep Space. It's actually very, very black. And then this is the lash grab. That's, you know, use it to apply the lashes. So I'm going to show you how I do it. The other eye, you just do your liner like normal. And then once you're finished, just let it dry for a couple seconds before you apply the lash. Now that your liner is dry, you apply your lash to your lash line. I want to like do that just to make sure it's sticking. And now your lashes are on and secured. The lashes do come with anchors that you can apply to your inner and outer corners if you need like extra reassurance that your lashes are not gonna go anywhere. But I would say this is pretty good. And if you want to remove it, you would take like from the corners and then take a little bit of like makeup remover and kind of rub it along the line, and that will gently take it off. So thank you, Glamnetics, for sending me all these goodies. Like honestly, this is actually really not that difficult, and I would say pretty beginner friendly if you know how to put on eyeliner. Because listen, if you've been on my channel for a while, you know the few times I have done my makeup on camera, I never do my lashes because I take an embarrassingly long time putting on lashes. But this, I feel like once I get the hang of this, I could probably do this in like 20 seconds. Like super simple, super easy. They have really nice lashes, and yeah. If you're interested in any of the products I use today, don't forget to check out Glamnetics and use my code KICKBACKSNEXTDOOR15 off to get 15% off your whole order. Okay, so today we're talking about Euphoria episode 3. I told myself I was not going to like review the season like episode by episode because I feel like that'd just be too much work. But episode 3, I had a lot of opinions, and I had a lot of opinions that I really hadn't seen anyone else like talking about. So I was like, let me get in front of this camera and give y'all my unsolicited opinions about Euphoria. This is not going to be a regular thing. I'm not going to cover each episode of the season, but I might cover episodes that I think are super interesting over on my Patreon after this one. So episode 3 starts off with Cal's backstory. Now, if this was the backstory to any character that was not a piece of shit, I would have loved this. I would have thought this was a great moment in television for queer couples, for just queer love story. It was done so well and so great, but this is about Cal. And this really isn't the backstory I wanted for like to hear from Cal. I wanted to understand how we got to this place of him using apps like Grindr, soliciting sex, sometimes from minors, recording them without their permission. I really wanted to understand like how we got to that point. Seeing him as a teenager, we did, in my opinion, I don't think we learned any new information, anything that we could have garnered ourselves. Like, could have figured out his dad was a piece of shit, could have figured out he was, you know, in the closet as a teenager. Like, all of that, I feel like, was not new information. Did the scene with him and his friend at the bar, not, make my heart sing a little bit? It did. But I hate Cal. Cal is a terrible person. Cal is not a character that can be redeemed. So I really feel like this was like a way for like Sam to be like, you see, guys, he's not really that bad. No, he is. He's a terrible individual. He is a horrible person. He is a monster. And no matter how sweet and sad his backstory is going to make me like feel for Cal. Like, was it a good scene? Yes. Do I still hate Cal and know he's going to hell and gasoline draws? Yes. That whole backstory was definitely for the girls who love terrible men as long as they have a tragically sad backstory. You know, those girls that will defend the worst male characters in the show but hate every female character. This was a great scene for those girls, but for me, I hated it. Like, it was great, but I hated it because you were trying to make me feel for this man like he's not an actual monster. Okay, so next, let's talk about Cassie. Girl, get up. Get up now. Okay, Cassie looked so pathetic this entire fucking episode. And I'm not going to fully blame her for that. I'll get into that. But it's just like, we find out that Cassie, ever since she has started her little tryst with Nate, has been waking up 3 hours early every single day to get ready for school. She has this whole long, extensive routine, and every time she comes to school, she like has a different style, different aesthetic. She's consistently trying new things in order to catch Nate's eye, because every time he see her, he just brush right past her like she don't even exist. And we find out that like every Friday night, that's when they go and hook up. And then outside of Friday, Nate does not talk to her. He does not look at her. He don't want anything to do with her. And get up. Cassie, please get up. Because it looked so bad for her. Because the only time Nate even glanced at her is when she was dressed exactly like Maddie. And when he looked at her, she had this big, dumb grin on her face. And I'm just like, baby girl, I want so much better for Cassie, but I can't want more than what she wants for herself. I literally cannot. And like watching this and seeing this, oh, it was bad. It was a bad for our girl. Because again, he only looked at her that one time because she looked like Maddie, like down to the baby hairs, which again, a white woman with baby hairs will always be nasty. But she did it, like, it was, there's a thread. Before this episode even came out, we got a screen grab of this episode with Maddie and Cassie dressed exactly the same, but like in different fonts. And this person made a thread where they broke down like why Cassie in this outfit is far less convincing than Maddie. It's a really good thread. I'm gonna leave a link to that in my description box below. And then over on my Patreon, I actually did a video talking about the importance of costume designing. So like that thread in that video is gonna be up soon. We'll go hand in hand. You guys should definitely check that out. But it was so pathetic for Cassie this episode. Shout out to Sydney, because I could not do any of this as an actress. This was embarrassing to witness. I can only imagine how embarrassing it was to act out. Now, this season, I have been seeing a lot of hate for Cassie. Some of y'all seem to hate Cassie more than Nate, and it's because you hate women. Anyways, moving forward. I think when it comes to Cassie, there can be two truths. I do genuinely believe that Cassie has extremely low self-esteem and is consistently looking for validation and acceptance from men. We see it with McKay, and now we see it with Nate. She desperately clings onto a man in order to make herself feel good. She does not love herself, so she's looking for that love from men. And we've seen season 1, and now we're seeing it in season 2. With that being said, Cassie is still a horrible friend. She is still a bad friend. And even though she has these self esteem issues and she needs validation, that still does not allow people to be terrible people to everyone else. The whole point of understanding trauma, understanding stuff like that, is so you can understand people's behavior, but not to give their horrible behavior an excuse. There's no excuse for Cassie to do this to her own friend. She knows what Nate has done to Maddie. Whether or not she believes the physical abuse because Nate got that one dude arrested, she still has witnessed the verbal abuse and manipulation Nate has done to Maddie firsthand. And there's no excuse for that. You know what I mean? Yes, Cassie has her own issues, specifically with self-esteem, but she's still a bad friend to Maddie. Because I don't even care that he's her ex. I care about how toxic and abusive he was to her. And she knows this. Get up, Cassie. Get up. I'm so serious. It's bad for you. It's so bad for you. And I can't even defend you because you are knowingly sleeping with somebody that was, at the barest minimum, to your knowledge, emotionally abusive to your own best friend. Now, I do not think she deserves to be hated more than Nate. Those of you who hate her more than Nate, y'all have an issue, you have a problem. But women like y'all exist all the time where, like, y'all really will allow male characters to be horrible and be actual villains, but let a female character be flawed and y'all will hate her down. I need some of y'all to deal with your internalized misogyny, please, because some of your takes and some of your issues with Cassie is like, okay, like, I get saying she's a bad friend, saying she kind of sucks, but worse than Nate, get it together. Lexi continues to be one of my favorite characters. The whole scene where, like, she, like, imagines her life to be like a TV show was great, fantastic. I feel like a lot of us can relate to that, and like her feeling like she's not the side character in her life even though she actually is. She is so relatable. She's so fun, and it's just, I don't know. I just love Lexi. I love her so much. And also I love the fact that she's putting on a play and so many people came to audition for it. Like, listen, Lexi is that girl. Like, she really, really is. Now, I'm really interested in what this play is about because, like she said, she's observer. So, like, is this play, like, I feel like the play is about, like, her sister and, like, Rue and all of that. And I'm just like, listen, if that really is what this play is about, it's gonna be bad for the girls. It's gonna be a great play, but it's gonna be bad for her friends. Like, listen, Lexi might spill all the tea, and could this be how Maddie finds out that Cassie is sleeping? No, because she doesn't know yet. Rue knows, but Lexi doesn't. I'm curious. I'm really, really curious. One thing I did not like with Lexi stuff is, like, you can kind of see the possible, like, planting of, like, a love triangle between Lexi, Fez, that's my other favorite character, and Ethan, who's Kat's boyfriend. No. I like Ethan. I really, really do. He has the personality of a box of cereal, though. And I'm talking about, like, Raisin Bran, you know? Like, boring old people cereal. That's the type of personality that Ethan has, and I don't want that for Lexi. I like her and Fez's chemistry. I like the awkwardness. I like the longing looks. I find that all so cute. I like Ethan. He's just like wet paint. Not a bad person, but just, I don't think, well, I feel like the I feel like the writers haven't really fleshed him out to be a full character, so he's just generic good guy one, and, like, there's nothing wrong with that, but I just want Lexi to get a little something else. Him and Kat, that's gonna crash and burn and hurt everybody involved, but we move forward. I don't like Elliot. I really don't. Like, I liked him the first 2 episodes, even though, like, I knew he had a crush on Rue. I didn't really care because I knew Rue saw him as drugs. She didn't really care about him as a person. She liked doing drugs with him. I don't like him now. That scene with him and Jules didn't sit right with my spirit. there was something about him telling Jules that he had a crush on Rue, and then promptly going off to like heavily like compliment Jules, and I feel like tell her everything she wants to hear, and possibly tell herself to feed into her insecurities about her and Rue's relationship. I feel like he's very aware their relationship is not completely on steady grounds. Of course he does. He knows that Rue is lying about the drugs and stuff like that. So he knows they're really not on good footing. And it really feels like he's trying to like weasel his way in between, maybe even get with both of them. There's just something about Elliot I don't trust. Because it was just something about telling her you like her girlfriend and then telling her how sexy and amazing she is. It's something about that. Something about that don't sit right in my spirit. Also, him and like Jules have a whole conversation about Rue's like sexuality. Well, not sexuality, but her sexual drive. And this is something I've oddly been thinking about, because I've also kind of thought that Rue was on the asexual spectrum. Because at first I thought she was lesbian, like season 1. Because there's a specific episode where she talks about her sexual encounters with boys. And she doesn't seem to have enjoyed any of it in any capacity, in that like it seemed more like a chore to do than something she enjoyed. And then she got with like, then everything with Jules happened, and I thought maybe possibly she could be ace. And then like in this episode we do see her have some sexual encounters with Jules. And the thing is, there are some ace people who will have sex with their partners if they're very much so in love with their partners, and again, the sex really isn't for them themselves, it's for their partners. So that's what I thought. But could also be that like Rue is just consistently on drugs. Like Rue is walking that fine line of being alive and being comatose. So I do believe that's probably playing in to her extremely low sex drive, that she's just so high and so gone that she probably just doesn't care enough for that. Because like again, we've only seen like Rue sober like what, for 2 episodes, like for a couple episodes, then she relapsed again. So that's my thoughts on that. We also get this actually nasty section of like Rue gaslighting her little sister Gia, which again was disgusting, right? So like how she does it is, first she brings up the idea that she wants to smoke weed, right? And Gia, for good reasons, throws a fit, and she's like, you are so selfish, because Rue is a drug addict, she's extremely selfish. And they get into this huge fight, a lot of pushing and shoving. If I was Gia, I would have beat up Rue, but that's me though. And the whole point is to plant the idea in her sister's head, right? Next, when her sister confronts her about it and she's crying and she's telling her that like, you don't do drugs like normal people, and she doesn't because she's an addict, and Rue tells her that she's having suicidal thoughts when she's sober, and that's why she wants to smoke. Rue is a monster. Like, she is a true monster. But again, that's how addicts can be. All they care about is drugs, and it doesn't matter when they hurt people. And then because of that, Gia is just like, promise me it's just gonna be weed. So now Rue can do whatever types of drugs she wants to do in the house and just gets to blame it on weed. This whole section was actually horrible. Greatly acted by Storm Reeds and like Zendaya, like great acting, but it was just so hard to watch because we knew she was gaslighting her. And I feel so bad for Gia, because Gia's like what, 13, 14 years old, and like this, like drugs doesn't just affect you, like it affects the people around you. And like I can't wait to get another like Gia centered episode so we can really see how Rue's drug abuse really affects her. So Rue has this incredibly dumb plan in order to get free drugs. She was gonna go to Fez and be like, hey, I'll be a runner for you. Let me take 5K worth of drugs. But she was never actually going to sell it. She was going to do all the drugs herself. Now, when she tries to make the proposal to Fez, she starts off with, like, hey, give me 5K worth of drugs. And he shut that shit down immediately. He didn't want to hear anything she had to say, rightfully so. Because why would he give 5K worth of drugs to a drug addict? There is no reason, there is no rhyme, it don't make no sense. He knew better. So instead, she decides to go to the drug lady that she had met the first episode with, like, this whole PowerPoint presentation about how she's an honor student and her and 3 other honor girls are gonna, like, be runners for her, and that, like, no one's gonna believe that we're selling drugs because we're honor students. We're good girls. No one's gonna think otherwise. Incredibly stupid. And so the lady gives her 10K worth of drugs, which the lady literally tells her, if you screw my money, I'm going to sell you to some very bad people. And she still walks out of that house with those drugs. Now, I had a thought, right? That this plan was originally for Fez. She was going to steal 5K of drugs from one of her best friends and leave him to deal with the consequences of not having the money for those drugs. Nasty. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Rue has been a horrible person this last episode, and like Zendaya said, like, it gets worse. Like, episode 5, like, she's at her worst, and I'm not excited to see that, like, at all. So she has these drugs, right? And she's like riding around on her bike with a suitcase full of drugs, just living her best life. She takes a suitcase of drugs to an AA meeting. Like, something wrong with this girl. At the meeting, afterwards, her and Ali have this horrible blowout. She says some very, very nasty things to Ali, throwing the personal family information that he shared with her back in his face. And I just want to say, Ali is a much better person than me. Much person than me. Because you best believe after she says that to me, I'm immediately on the phone with her mama and tell her, drug test her now. We'll find every single drug in that little girl body. Because, like, honestly, I think this scene was a great scene for people who maybe don't have any addicts in their family, to really show you how low a drug addict will go to get their way. Like, we see it with the gaslighting of Gia lying, wanting to kill herself, and we see it with the scene with Ali. They will go so low. And then, like, after, like, she gets home with all the drugs, we see her doing fentanyl. If Rue don't die this season, I will be shocked. Because fentanyl? We still, baby. We still? No. There ain't no way she gonna do fentanyl this season and survive. I refuse. I refuse. That's not real. There ain't no way you'll do that much fentanyl and make it to the end of the season. If her heart don't stop at least once. At least once. I'll be sick. But, like, my favorite scene of this episode was between Fez, Cal, and Ashtray, because I really enjoy the fact that, like, Fez was such great comedic relief. Like Angus Cloud is funny without trying. And when he's talking to Cal, he was like, no, like, y'all family a bunch of bitches. Like, it's really crazy. Like, you beat up my son. Yeah, 'cause he's a fucking bitch. Like, what do you mean? And, like, that whole scene was funny. And then, like, when Ashtray was, like, hitting him with the side of the gun over and over and over again, and he would put the phone next to him to call cops, call cops. He not. He got his own skeletons in the closet. I was like, I know. Ashtray is great. And then to see Cal basically, like, tell his big secret to Fez, like, I guess Nate had lied to him and told him that Fez had the disc, and so he assumed that Fez knew, and, like, that Fez was trying to extort the family and all that stuff, and Fez was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I cannot understand how Cal could see how confused Fez looked, and then kept divulging more and more and more information. Told him that he was sleeping with Jules, that he didn't know she was underage. Okay, sure. Told him that, like, he recorded it. Like, he told you he ain't have no idea what you was talking about. And you still kept going. Why? I don't understand how Cal has kept a single secret. If he was, it was so easy to just get him to blurt everything out. It was, oh my god, embarrassing, embarrassing for him. I don't know how he's kept the secret for this long. So that's it for me. What are your guys' thoughts on this season so far? I know we're only on episode 3, but which of the three have been your favorite episode? Who are your favorite characters? What are your guys' like theories about this season? What are you excited to see? Listen, when she don't give that drug lady her money, I need to see what happens. Because some way, somehow, Fez is going to fix the situation, and I hate that for him. That he is consistently fixing Rue's problems, and I feel it's going to happen. And the whole, like, Lexi, Fez, Ethan, like, love triangle, who are you rooting for? Like, yes, Fez is a drug dealer, and, like, so, like, he's not a good person, like, in that regard. But at least he has a personality, and, like, Ethan is like a step above an NPC. Like, he just barely makes it as a character, and I would like to see Lexi with somebody with some semblance of a personality. At least we know things about Fez, and we know he has a sense of humor. We there's something there, even though he is very high all the time. But like, Ethan might as well be a wall, you know? But yeah, that's it for me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.